Hello, my traitors. Hello, and welcome to the Cup TV, the Currently Unnamed Podcast, where we put the real and the tea in reality. And you can always come to us first to quench your thirst. I am your girl, Lana, your resident evil diva, and I'm here to give the tea, spill the tea, and drink the tea because you know I love me some tea. Her. And I am not drinking anything, actually. I finished off my water, so I am going to just talk to you guys without it. But I do have my very impressive cup mug. And that means you're gonna get a party. Panel. Not that. Wrong side. Panel full of cup mugs. Panel full of cup mugs. Beer, 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 beer. Traitors edition. You can get your cup mug at your new and improved cup mug or any of our beautiful cup merch at lanagcreations.etsy.com. That link will be in the description below. And we do ship internationally and domestically, so there are no excuses unless your postal service is being a little bit slow. And that's okay because a delay is never a deny. It'll come, it might come slowly, but it'll get there. So get your cup merch. Period. But I am here to talk more traitors. Y'all know what it is. I've been doing this. We've been at this for a few weeks now. So we're talking traitors. I haven't recruited anybody. It's hard to seduce. These faithfuls just won't let me be great and don't want to become a traitor. But that's okay. It's all right. I'm just gonna keep murdering them by myself, and that's if that's what I have to do, then that's what I have to do. But we're gonna be here all the time, so I'll give you all things traders and traders US and all the things here on this Cup TV. So before we jump into it, y'all know what to do. If y'all enjoying this content, please subscribe to this channel. We are on a mission to get this channel to 1,000 subscribers in within this next year. So I need your help, and I'm going to continue to do everything that I can to show you that I'm serious about this. And we're going to do some other shows. Some new shows are coming out, and we're going to start covering all of those things. We have some refills that we're going to do where we go back to older shows that we loved that we want to watch again and talk about. So stick around for all of those things. We have 3 other channels that you can subscribe to. All of those links will be in the description below in our link tree. So click that and go subscribe to all of our other channels. And our audio podcast links are down there as well. If you need to listen to us on the go, you can go do that. Our Patreon is down there where we have early access and exclusive content across all 4 of our channels. So you might want to check that out. All of our social links are down there at the Cup Pod on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky, and any other place we have to go. We are going where you are. So we go where the people are. So that is that. Now I'm going to take this off because I want to see. And I can't see. But yeah, Traitors episode 9. It's a good one. It was a good one. We had just lost our last faithful in Alex, and then so we were reeling from that. And the last thing we saw on the episode was the traitors in the tournament talking about who they were going to murder. And so the short list was Lisa, Joe, and Jake. Lisa, Joe, and Jake were was on the short list of people who they were going to murder. So we get down to breakfast, and everybody's coming in, and they're coming in slowly. Before, let me get my trusty companions up here so you all know who and what I am talking about. But yeah, we have I'll take a bit off of Leon's head. We have everybody coming in, and the last three. Well, Joe has come in early, and I was like, oh, it's not Joe, and it made me nervous because I was like, okay, all right, huh. I thought Joe was on the short list, but I guess he's off the hook. He's still here. Great, good on Joe. Um, but then it came down to Jake, Leanne, and Lisa. And last knock on the door, and we were like, who is it? Who comes in? But Jake and Leanne. So Lisa was murdered. And then we go back to the torrent where Mina and Charlotte are talking about murdering Lisa, and they're like, "Oh my God, we're about to murder a priest. Oh my God, have mercy on our souls." I was like, "Yeah," but I think God knows the game Lisa signed up for, so I think it's okay. It's all right. But still ask for some forgiveness anyway, just in case. Don't take my word for it. I don't know. I don't know. God might not have liked it, but we'll. I think it'll be okay, but just ask for forgiveness anyway. If that's, if you're worried. But so Lisa's been murdered, and everybody's like, oh my gosh, that's kind of savage. Y'all killed a priest. The traitors, y'all killed a priest. And it wasn't as much of a shock to people, I don't believe, because nobody reacted in a way or was super, super, super upset like they had been in the past with other contestants. So I don't think this was quite as much of a shock. But it was kind of just like, oh, Lisa, not that, oh, Lisa. But nobody was really too over emotional about it. We saw Mina giving Charlotte some props for her acting and how she's like, I feel like Charlotte is really a great trader. If I had a review if I had to do a review for a employee review, she would get great, she would get great reviews from me. She's doing a great job. Nothing's changing, nothing's shifting. Like she's not coming off suspicious. A lot of people are looking at Charlotte as 100% faithful, which is like, okay, wow, all right. Um, so it's looking good for Charlotte. It's looking really good for her. Um, we see how you know they're talking, and Claudia comes in and tells them that they had to say goodbye to Lisa, but it is what it is. We have a mission. We can't really bother too much. She said we have a mission, and let me take a head count. She said, yeah, everybody's here. All right. And she walks off. So everybody's like, a head count? What does that mean? It has something to do with the mission. And when she said it, I was like, I wonder if it's what we just saw on Traitors US with the heads and the statues. And voila, it is, by the way. The exact same thing where they had to go and put the heads together on with the bodies on the top of this hill, put these statues together, and somebody's going to get a safety shield from it. But before we jump into the mission, it was a lot of little conversations happening. People are still suspecting of Leon. Um, they don't know. They feel like his demeanor has shifted and has changed a little. So they're like, has he been recruited? Is he in? Has he always been a traitor? And we're starting to see his traitor sides. I don't know. Um, it was a lot of that. People still are like shifting their feelings to Frankie, and was like, I just feel like something it might be. She is a name that nobody ever brings up, and I feel like maybe we should start looking at her direction some. Jake is on the Frankie train at this point. He's like, I just don't know. I just can't shake it. As much as I want to, I just don't know. Freddie is still saying Nina's name. Like everybody's name is flying around because they're like, this just doesn't add up, and something is not right. We keep getting rid of faithfuls. We only got rid of 2 traitors. The math ain't mathing. So they're trying to figure out who it could possibly be. As of right now, in that moment, I think the people who had the most heat on them was Leon, Frank, and Frankie. And on the next tier of, I guess, suspicion was Mina and Alexander. Um, Everybody knows Jake is probably 100% faithful at this point, so it's like whatever it is. And Charlotte has made her way onto this 100% faithful list, which is like great. Okay, okay, wow. So we do have um we just go let's go to the mission. Let's go to the mission because really it's not a whole lot. Just a lot of little conversations here and there. Nothing too major. Nothing that was game changing or altering anything. Um, we go to the mission, and like I said, it was the statue. We had to take the bodies to the statue up the hill, and then put a head on the statue. One of the statue platforms had a shield with it, so if your head was on that body, then you get the shield. And so they were trying to figure out how they were going to do this. They were like, who wants the shield? Freddie really wanted a shield. Um, Everybody really wanted a shield. I was like, I want a shield, but they were like, who hadn't had a shield? Let's give it to someone who hadn't had a shield, and we'll figure it out. Let's just go grab all the bodies, take them up the hill, and then we'll come back and start grabbing heads once all the bodies are up there. And so once the mission starts, people start grabbing the bodies and going up the hill. Then they realize how heavy these things actually are and how steep this hill is. So it started to become a challenge for some people right away. Freddie and Alexander just took off with these bodies, with this body, and they got tired eventually, but they were doing really well in stamina and keeping up with, getting the bodies up to the top. Everybody was struggling. People were switching, like, okay, could we switch out with you and you? Let's have a girl and a guy on one so we could, get it done. Um, they got up to the hill and put the first bodies down and was stacking the bodies on the things. And then they started going down the hill for the second run. Alexander decides to help people who are still coming up the hill with bodies and helping them because he's like, we need to get all the bodies up there because this was an all or nothing challenge. I didn't mention that. But either they were going to get 10,000 pounds or nothing. They had to put all 5 statues together, head and body, in order to get the money and to get the shield. Like if you did not have all the statues together, you got nothing. So they were very determined to get all of the statues together. They only had 45 minutes to do so. And like I said, they realized running up and down this hill with these heavy statues was not as easy as it looked. It was very steep. It was very heavy. And so Alexander had helped 2 people with the bodies up the hill at this point. And we saw several people go back down to start collecting heads. And at first, everybody's like, we don't have to focus on grabbing our own head so we can run up the hill and put it on the statue with the shield. Let's just grab a head. Leanne decided she was going to grab her own head. And she grabbed her head and she took off. And everybody was like, that's just not right. And I'm like, what is not right? The name of the game is I need I need a shield. So I'm going to run up there and get it. But she grabs hers, and she goes up, and other people start grabbing heads and going up. It was at one point that somebody had grabbed Alexander's head, but then they were like, why am I grabbing somebody else's head? I'm going to grab my own head. I think it was Freddie, or I don't remember who grabbed his head at first. No, it was a woman. I think it was Frankie. And then they were like, oh, I want to go grab my own head. So they let the heads They dropped the head, went back, got their own head, and started making their way up the hill. Freddie and Jake sees Alexander's head sitting there, and they were like, "I don't want his head. I'm gonna get my own head." So because they don't really trust him fully, and so they're like, he could be a traitor. Why would we give him a shield? Um, and so they leave the head at first, and then Jake feels a little bad, and he comes back and grabs the head and takes it up. Now, this is what we find out a lot of Jake's backstory. If you did not know, Jake has a disability. He has cerebral, cerebral palsy. I can say it. My words are hard right now. But cerebral palsy in his, I think it's his left side or right side. One is left side, but his arm and leg is kind of, weak, and so he can't grip well, and so it was hard for him to hold these statues. But we heard so much of his story, and I was like, why are we hearing Jake's backstory? Why are we hearing Jake's backstory right now? We can't be possibly about to vote out Jake. Like, he's the one who's never should or never going to get banished. Like, what is happening? I was like, the only way he will die is if he was murdered. So are we foreshadowing, or I don't know. It was weird. It was very weird. But I was enjoying his story though. He told a lot about growing up with this disability and having a disability that, you know, maybe might not be visible to the eye right away. That you have to decide if you're going to tell people or not about it, or they're going to treat you different when they find out about it, or were they cool before and they go still be cool afterwards. I don't know. And I think that's something that he has to deal with and face on a regular basis. So I get that. Um, but he went and grabbed Alexander's head and took it down. And everybody was taking heads down. Once they got the fifth body, they were standing like, okay, what are we going to do? So it came down between Joe and Freddie who was going to get the shield, and they were just like, we'll just vote, and whoever wins the most votes wins, whatever. So Charlotte and Frankie vote for Joe. Mina and Leanne votes for Freddie. No, yeah, yeah. Alexander and Leanne vote for Mina, and Alexander votes for Freddie. And so they asked Leon. Leon was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna give it to Freddie." And so I don't know. And so Joe was a little shocked, like, "Why would you give it to Freddie if you don't trust him? You've said on several occasions that you don't trust him. Why are you giving him the shield? The math ain't mathing." And so, and put a pin in that because we'll come back to it. So Freddie ends up getting the shield. He's very excited. Never had a shield before. So now he has a shield. He cannot be murdered tonight. Good on you, Freddie. They get the 5 statues erected in the time limit. So they go home with 10,000 pounds in the pot. And they're very excited about that. On the way home, Frankie says to Frankie says to oh, why am I drawing a blank? Oh, she says to Leon in the car. My God. Frankie tells Leon in the car that she thinks it was a little selfish for Leanne to go and grab her head and start making her way up the hill. Like, we didn't even discuss it. We were grabbing other people's heads. We were just trying to grab it. And I just found it little suspect, a little selfish, a little rude to do that. And I might be putting rude in her mouth. She might not have said rude, by the way. But she goes and she's in the kitchen talking, saying the same thing. And Leon goes and tells Leanne the second they get back, is like, Frankie was like saying how you were a little selfish for grabbing your own head. What she did say, what she did say, but Leanne was like, "What? What you mean? I just grabbed my head. I just what? Like this isn't making any sense." And so she was like, I'm just gonna go confront them about it right now. Yep, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go confront them about it right now. And so she goes into the room where Frankie, Joe, and um, Charlotte is there, and they're talking about it, about how Leanne took her own head. And she comes in, she's like, "So, does somebody got a problem with what I did today at the mission?" And they're like, Charlotte's like, "God, no. I mean, we get why you did what you did. It's a part of the game. I was just saying that I couldn't have done it." And Frank was like, "Nobody's talking about you. I never said it was anything wrong with what you did. I said that you probably could be more of a faithful because you keep going for the shield, because you're scared to be murdered." Um, and so that's what I said. And so she was like, "Who told you that?" And Leanne was like, "Leon." And she was like, "I don't like how people are being so messy." And I'm paraphrasing because, of course, that's not how Frankie talks. But she was like, "I feel like I don't like how people are trying to, blow up my spot and say things that is not true, that saying it in a way that I didn't mean to say it. Like, I didn't say it in that way. Like, that was never my intention. And they are spreading information that first of all, didn't need to be spread. Second of all, it didn't it wasn't the way you presented it was not how I gave it to you. So it's kind of like you're trying, like that. And so she was upset about that. And she was like, "I feel like Leon has changed his spots a little bit. He used to be so well respected, and now I just don't know how I feel about him." And a lot of people are preparing, like they are going to bring things up at this roundtable. This is what they were going to bring up, and they had their points, and they trust me, those points were going to be made. Um, we start off with more conversations happen. People are still, a little concerned with Mina, here and there. Charlotte is, holding her cards very tight to her chest. Um, they go to the round table. That's what I just want to be at right now. I really want to just get to this round table. So they get to the round table, and Leon starts, and he brings up his issues that he had with Frankie, and he doesn't know if she is possibly a traitor or not. It just He was like, "I just feel that way. That's my gut." Frankie was like, "I feel like you have changed." And she's like, "I don't like how you are starting to trying to sabotage me, or, you know, whatever, because you're telling people information that I gave you and you're doing it in such a way. I feel like it's sabotage." And he was like, "No, absolutely not. I didn't go to her like, oh, you need to hear this because Charlotte said," like, he wasn't going there. He was just like, "This is what happened, and this is how it is." And she did say she found it annoying and weird that you would take your own head up there. And selfish was the word that was used. And so, excuse me, y'all. When he brought it up, uh, Frankie started defending herself about why she said what she said. She was like, I wasn't trying to hide behind anything. I said that because I thought that's what it was. But, and Frankie was just like, that's just one conversation that did happen that I want to mention is the conversation between Leon and Joe, because Joe asked Leon's point blank, "Why did you give Freddie the shield when you said yourself you don't trust him?" And Leon was a little confused, but then he was like, "Oh, well," uh, he said, "I didn't hear it was between you, Joe, and Frankie." He said, "I thought it was well, you and Freddie, he was like, I thought it was going to go to, who did he say he thought it was going to? Alex? It had to be Alex or somebody. No, Frankie. It was Frankie. He thought it was going to Frankie, and he has doubts about Frankie, and so he didn't know if he wanted to give her that power. And so it was a lot of back in, Leon was trying to defend himself. Frankie was defending herself, and they were going back and forth. Then Frankie brought up, Jake had brought up Frankie's name. Leanna brought up not Charlotte, Leon's name. But then they were shifting. It was going from Frankie to Leon to Frankie, back to Leon. Freddie tried to throw Mina's name out there as a possibility. He said she's still on the unsure list with him. He doesn't know for sure if she's in that, if she is a traitor. So she's just like, okay. It was like, y'all, the way the round table was just shifting names and shifting blames. It is why I love Traitors so much, because everybody is on one, and everybody is trying to do their best to catch a traitor. It's at 9 right now, and 9 people, and emotions are flaring, to say the least. Frankie didn't like her hearing their name called. Didn't like it, not that much, and so she was not going to go down without a fight. And I think she sold a few people on what she was selling. Like, she had people I think she got convinced a couple of people that maybe she's not. Maybe she's not. Like, that wouldn't make sense for her to be fighting the way she is if she was. Maybe she's not. And it was wild, to say the least. I'm trying to, and I know I'm rambling a little bit, but I'm trying to get my process in my head who everybody said and what they did. We saw, like I said, Leon was the target, and then it was Frankie, and then it was back to Leon. I think it was back and forth, and then they brought in Mina as an option, but nobody had any strong proof for Mina. And so Claudia comes in and says the voting is over. Voting is done. Joe is still hung up on for what Leon said, and how he was just like, I don't know if I believe if you didn't hear them say, it's not him anymore, it's, Lana or whatever, or whoever. It could have been anybody else. I say me because I really want to play this game, but I'm scared to death to play this game. Whew, dilemmas. But the voting comes, and it's back and forth between Leon and Frankie. Leon, Frankie. But eventually, in the end, it doesn't even matter. Yes, it does matter, because in the end, Leon was banished. And he announced to everyone that he was indeed a faithful. And everybody was just like, oh, no, we got another one. This is crazy. And so Leon's gone. Claudia says, she comes into the round table and is like, yep, Leon's gone. It sucks. We hate it. We don't like it. He was a faithful. We lost a really strong, faithful. So not worked out. But before they can leave, Claudia was like, I think you all need some time to relax and enjoy each other's company with the dinner party that I'm throwing. And you are my guest of honors. So please go change and meet me in the dining room and we could have our first moment. Uh and so they were like, a dinner party? What? Huh? What do you mean? What do you mean, Claudia? A dinner party? What? And so they go get dressed. They have this dinner party. Now, me personally, I thought it was just a very cute way of everybody to have their own backstory being told. And it was cute, but y'all know me. I'm like, fluff, 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 blah, blah, blah. But it was really just like, what would you do? Everybody answered the question, what would you do if you won the money? And it went from safari trips to getting pregnant with IVF, um, getting pregnant again so they can enjoy pregnancy because Leanne wanted to have, well, she had twins, but her twins were born early. And so she didn't experience the full um, extent of motherhood. And, she wants to experience that. Frankie wants to help his mom and dad out, a mom, because she's been working so hard for him and he wants to do good by her, wants to, take on a couple of trips or send her, payments and things like that. Like just sending things around. Um, Sending things around. What does that even mean, Lana? Okay, I'm talking crazy. I am talking nuts right now. Sending things around. No. She wanted to have the full pregnancy, is what I was trying to say. She had twins. They came early. She wants to experience it again, but have the full term. That's what I'm trying to say. Please excuse all the rubbish I just said because I don't even know what I was talking about. um, Freddie wants to send his mom on a holiday and help her with some bills. He wants to pay to go to law school. Mina wants to have a honeymoon with her husband because they got married during the pandemic, never had a honeymoon. She wants to do that. Um, we saw Alexander wants to get back to a camp that helps his brother because his brother has special needs, and it's this camp that takes the kids away for about a week to give the parents just a week break in the summer to relax, decompress, take a few moments, get themselves together. He wants to contribute to that camp because he finds that camp very important to families, and he wants to be a part of that. Um, we saw Frankie said she was doing this for all of her kids, her boys. She wants to have money for them to go to uni and help them out in their lives because she says it's hard work for her, for young kids to, be able to get ahead in life and do things. So she wants to be able to help her children do that. Anybody I miss? Besides Joe. Jake wants to um help his parents out and his wife. He wants to do something, do stuff in their house, get stuff together for the house. And then Joe said, I wish I was so noble, but I really just want to take the money and go on a vacation. Um, I think he said vacation. I think they all said vacation at some point. But I think he said vacation. But he was like, he's on a teacher's salary. He would love to be able to, just have more and, maybe do something to follow his dreams if it doesn't work out. He always has a teaching degree. It's a lot of stuff. But after all that talk and fluff and loveliness and everybody getting to know each other, the bell tolls, everybody goes to bed except for Mina and Charlotte. They meet in the church and they were like, we have to make a kill that's going to be impactful but not going to come back on us. Um, so their short list was Jake, Joe, and Leanne. And they were like, we just have to figure out which one. And that is where they left off. That's literally it. Oh, hold on. That's literally it. I don't know what I'm doing right now. I just keep hitting the wrong one. I can't see. There it is. Oh, it's late, y'all. It's so late, and my brain is starting to crash out a little bit, but I'm getting it together. But yeah, that's where we left it. So we know between Joe, Jake, and Leanne, one of them won't make it to breakfast. We also found out that it is two roundtables left before the finals, and after that, nobody will reveal if they're faithful or a traitor anymore. So you have to figure it out just on your own if you make it to that point. Um, Honestly, it's still good. Like, I am so interested in watching it every time. I literally, when the video dropped for me to watch it, I instantly clicked it. It was just like, there it is, good, gonna watch it. Not just because I knew I had to recap about it, but because it was so, I was just like on pins and needles, like, who did they murder? Who was, gonna be banished? Who's the conversation on now? So I'm very excited about this seasons, the series still. It's really, really good. Great group of people. Oh, one thing. Mina fully trusts Charlotte right now about going to the end and splitting the money, doing a sisterhood. Charlotte is not about that life. Charlotte is waiting for the moment to throw Mina under the bus so she can be the only traitor left. And it's interesting. Charlotte is playing the game. As much as I like Mina and I want Mina to win, if she does not open her eyes and see Charlotte will throw her under the bus if necessary, she will be the one to get got first. And I don't want that for my girl. I don't want that for her, but it might be her fate if she don't open her eyes. Charlotte was like, she shouldn't trust me because I don't trust her. And Mina turned around like, I trust Charlotte. Usually I didn't trust traitors, but I feel like I trust Charlotte. So I'm just like, oh, well, Julie, it is what it is. But that is all, y'all. I'm going to get out of here. I appreciate you spending time with me and watching this, going through this journey with me. Let me know in the comments below what you think. Let me know if you are down with what I'm saying, if you appreciate what's happening. And if I was a mess and saying some rambly things in this episode, please forgive me. Like I said, y'all, it's so late and I am so tired. But I was not going to leave y'all hanging with the recap. I always am going to try to do it on time as I possibly can. So I apologize if there were rambles, but I think I got back on track and the gist of everything is there. Um, Follow us on this channel, please. If I didn't scare you away, please follow us on this channel. Like I said, my goal is to reach 1,000 followers by the end of the year, and I need your help. So please, please, please follow this channel. Follow all of our other channels. Those links will be in the description below, as well as our audio podcast links. If you need to listen to us on the go, and our Patreon to get early access and exclusive content. You can follow us on our socials at The Cup Pod on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky. You can follow me on those locations as well. My Instagram is there, TikTok and Twitter or X is down there, and Blue Sky. All that is down there. And you can always get your cup merch as well. LanaGCreations.etsy.com. Get your merch. And on that note, we're just going to say cheers. Cheers to you all.